I am 5'10". No, I'm 5'9".
Do guys?
I'm
yeah.
only
I'm 5'9".
I'm only 5'9" on my license.
I thought I was 5'11" for
I
a
think
long
you're
time.
5'8".
I am 5'8", but I say 5'9" on my license.
I might be 5'8" too.
Oh my god.
I feel like I've gotten shorter over the years, but it just might have gotten to be like more true in terms of my height.
My foot got bigger. If that's any better.
You're 5'8"? I might be 5'9". Am I taller than you? I'm not
I
taller.
think you're like an
you got an inch on me.
Or a half inch maybe.
Do you know what a half inch looks like?
Yes.
Well, everybody, I am Bradley Schneller, and this is the Roux Fitness Community Profile. This is Nicole Sanders and Brad Scott, two of our esteemed members here at Roux. We're excited to have them. I chose them because they're incredibly interesting, super warm and welcoming, and my friends. So,
Aww.
Thanks.
so they are newly engaged. We'll be exploring that a little bit. Look at this. What is that again? Tell me what that is.
It's a Morganite.
Morganite.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me? I mean, like, I don't know much about a Morganite.
It's got almost the same durability as the diamond. It's like rated an 8 and the diamond's a 10. So it's gonna last a long time. But they come in varying. Everything is like slightly different shade of pink, or well, I guess it's pink.
Yeah.
And it's
also
bigger.
a crystal, so it has certain
Right.
properties that if you buy into that, you can look up what it means, what it'll do for you spiritually, or how it makes you feel.
That's true.
Talk a little bit closer to the mic, like the next time. You don't have to be like that. I just want to see the lights blow up. So I'll edit that out.
Great.
So awesome, y'all. Cool. So Nicole, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? You used to be in the circus.
I did, yes. So I started off, well, I went after college. I started taking these acrobatic classes.
We now have like this ring in the gym that Nicole sometimes hangs from, and we have like these ropes. It's the special Nicole Sanders rig. No one else has their own equipment in the gym, but somehow Nicole does. So
Because I was nice, and y'all were nice, and said okay.
perfect.
But it's fun. It's fun to watch. Anyways, so after I started taking classes, just like with my equipment hung up for this lady here, and she's like, hey, you could do this professionally. And I was like,
How old were you?
oh, 24?
24.
Yeah, after college.
What were you doing at the time after college?
I was actually working at Loyola, the administrative assistant to the honors program, because I graduated from there.
And you're like, I'm going to quit that shit and
Well,
go join the circus.
Yeah, because I was studying for the GRE.
Hell yes.
So I was like, graduate school or circus school? And I had to present this thing to my parents because they have money saved for my graduate school. And I was like, this is why I should use my money for circus school instead of graduate school.
What was that reaction like?
They were a little hesitant at first, as you can imagine.
But then they saw you swing from a rope. And
Yeah, they saw my classes and they were like, you know what? She really wants to do it. I don't know. They're just super supportive. Like,
Watch the shake.
unbelievably
shake.
so.
It's okay.
That's right.
Is that, yeah, you see the camera shake?
I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, they fully supported me, and I still worked when I moved out to San Francisco.
Oh, you see me to San Francisco.
Yeah, it's pricey, and circus school is.
So you used
also
that
pricey.
college fund up quickly.
I did. Yeah, it's pricey living there.
What did you do in circus school?
Okay, so it's like regular school. Like you go to classes. So I had
a 4-year program, or were you in the executive
Or the
program?
books.
no books.
It's not like
Nope. Yeah. Okay, so we had contortion class. We had conditioning class. We had an acrobatic class. And then we had our specialty classes. So I did cloud swing and rope.
And I imagine you moved up in levels as you went? Or?
Oh, yeah. Then you could start to do all your classes more specialized. But you always had to do like acrobatics class and rhythmic.
So how long was
contortion
it?
classes. I did it for almost 3 years. Because I moved up there first, started taking classes. Then I got accepted into the program. Then did the program. Then I tore my ACL. But I kept taking classes.
Right.
And then I started touring.
What was it like? Well, have you ever regretted that? Like leaving and going to do the circus school?
No.
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 Awesome.
It's one of the best decisions.
I mean, it's led you to this point
Yeah.
here, which gives you this nice rock
Oh.
on your finger.
Circus school leads you here. No, that's, well, I mean, it did help me self-actualize and realize who I am, and through all the trials and tribulations and living the circus life, like, I don't know, I'm just more comfortable and confident with who I am now.
So how long did you actually perform for?
5 years?
5 years.
Mhm.
Touring around the country or the world?
Both. Well, the only place I went to around the world was in Peru.
Okay. And you were with what circus?
Cole Brothers, and then the last one was Ringling Brothers.
That's fantastic.
Mhm.
And what was your main job with them? You were...
So I did, for Cole Brothers, I did Lyra, straps, cloud swing, which is my personal favorite.
Can you explain what cloud swing is?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Brad, have you seen her do the cloud swing?
He's on video.
Only
right?
on video. It's so cool.
So it's think of about a big rope, and either end is attached to the ceiling pretty far away. And then at the center, I'm sitting and standing on it, like pushing the swing and then doing tricks on the back and then on the front.
That is pretty cool.
I did have a safety line, so.
Okay, so let's just jump into this. When did you start getting shot at the cannon?
That was after Cole Brothers Circus. It was weird. It seemed all like coincidental. Like they were ending, and then my friend was like, "Hey, this guy's looking for a cannon girl for Ringling Brothers." She's like, "You should audition or at least request his name."
Mm-hmm.
So I requested his friendship on Facebook, and I woke up the next morning to a message from him. He's so blunt. He's like, "Hey, you want to be the cannon girl for Ringling?" I was like, So I thought about it for 15 minutes, and then I said, "You think less?"
Oh, maybe.
It was a short span because I was like, I'm either in or I'm out. Like,
What's it feel like getting shot at the cannon? Well, can you explain how it works?
No.
Okay, all right. You can't explain how it works. That's fine. I know there's proprietary information there. What did it feel like?
I will tell you, it's not gunpowder. Everybody assumes it's gunpowder, but it's not.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. But, like, what's it?
Really, there is, I know people,
No other
there's
feeling
really no other feeling. I mean, maybe.
Like a water slide? Backwards?
Well, we're going to go
with
skydiving soon.
Yeah, I've never
So,
been skydiving. Maybe it feels
maybe.
like. Although you're being propelled and you have to control your body so that you don't land an odd way that could harm you. So it's, I don't know. It's just unlike any other feeling.
How far did you travel on average through the air?
It was about 100 feet, the entire distance. Yeah.
That is fun. So
It's so much fun.
it's for those of you who don't know, when I first met Nicole, I didn't know she was a Cannon girl, but her like avatar or her social media handles are Nitro Cannon, and I'm like, why the hell is this girl's named Nitro Cannon? And then,
like, what a weirdo! Why would anyone?
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know you then. But her Facebook profile picture is her in the cannon, and I was like, holy shit, we need to talk to this girl. Is that what attracted you first to her, Brad?
No.
What was it?
I saw her in the gym
Stretching,
and I was
Yeah,
like,
right.
she is really flexible, and she doesn't really talk to anity.
She was pretty quiet when she started.
Yeah.
You were really quiet when you started.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe she just wants to be left alone. So I just started talking to her as a friend, and we became friends, and then it progressed from there. But nothing attracted me to her in terms of like,
Her circus.
oh, I
scenes.
want to date this girl because of this reason. It was like, I really want to get to know her because she seems very, not what the word I'm looking for, like
Unique.
You're definitely unique.
unique.
You're the only girl
Quiet.
that rolls around the gym in roller skates. So
So much fun.
Yes.
Everybody should do it though.
yeah. For Nicole's birthday,
Yes.
Brad bought her some roller skates. I actually found out that you can change the wheels out if they get a little jacked up. So that's news to me. And Nicole's been before and after class is how she warms up and cools down.
Much fun.
Yeah, I mean, how did you decide you wanted to do that?
Well, I don't know. Like, we did it as kids. Didn't you do it?
Yeah, I had rollerblades.
Everybody
I
did
told that story. I want to switch to 4 wheels because the rollerblades are like skis and it hurts my shins
Yeah.
and knees. I can't
Yeah,
stand
you
it.
should. It's so much fun. I don't know. I just remember having so much fun. And I love, like, fitness stuff where you have fun. So I was like, Brad, you know what I want for my birthday? Some skates. And then we can go skate together.
Do you have skates yet?
I do not have skates. I'm waiting for the skater size class that Nicole's going to start,
I'm not doing
and then I'll buy skates.
We're talking about this. This is something.
that.
It's in motion.
I'm not even good. Do y'all see me?
Skating exercise. I think you're pretty good. You spin. You do like a little half circle,
Yeah.
which is pretty decent.
I'll need like a year to solidify that, and then we can go on the.
Awesome. So, Brad, you are currently an attorney.
Yes.
Can you tell us what type of an attorney you are?
I do criminal defense work and estate planning and successions and gun trusts, which are trusts to help people get highly restricted items like suppressors, fully automatic weapons, things like that. The
Awesome.
toys.
But
I
you
love
do
it.
other things with the gun trust too, right? Like that's it.
That's what it's mainly for.
Okay.
So, Brad, the other thing you do, though, you're a public defender as well, right?
Yes.
Which I think is super noble of you. There's not enough public defenders in the country that care about their work, and I know you do care.
Yes. I take it very seriously, and when people tell me, I hear this a lot, if they're giving me a compliment or telling me I did a good job, and then they tell me a horror story about a public defender that they had in some other parish or a friend who had a public defender, and I hate hearing those stories. But I know they're true. I know that there's some people who are overworked.
Is it just because they're overworked is why?
I think it's because they're overworked, and I think that some of it is because they became, like, my position is part-time, so I only have to work as a public defender 30 hours a week. So some people think to themselves, oh, I just have to work 30 hours a week on this. Well, there's some weeks if I'm in
You're
trial.
doing that plus all your other stuff as well.
Yeah, or if I'm in trial, I'm doing the public defender stuff for 60 hours that one week. But that's what it requires. They want to put somebody in jail for something. It's worth it. I mean, that person it's their life. Whether it's a year in jail, even if it's just probation, that person sees it as their life is on the line. They could lose a job. Anything can happen, and so I take it seriously.
And I imagine, like, you approach every case with, hey, this person's not guilty, right? You have to, right?
Yeah. To me, it doesn't matter if they're guilty or not guilty.
It's your job to get them off.
Yes, and I think of, well, what can I do here to help them in any way? Whether it's let's get a reduction, or can I get a dismissal without even going to trial? Can I show the DA's office how they are wrong, or why my client could not have done this, and then we don't even have to go to trial. We can just give them their freedom right now.
Awesome, man.
Also, it's because, like, the justice system, I mean, you said this before, is, like, not a fair machine.
No, it's not. It's
so
right now it's guilty till proven innocent, right?
Yes, it's guilty until proven innocent, and the system, everyone's a number. It's not a person. So one of the main things that I like to do when I first meet my clients is where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? How many kids do you have? Is your mom or dad still alive? Do you help take care of them? And then the first time we talk about the sentence with the judge, I present all that. Judge, you're going to sentence a person here. You're not going to sentence, case number 19-1245.
Ugh.
Like, this is a person who has a job, who has people who love him, and that's what I want in your head when you try to decide what you're going to sentence. Because a judge can throw out, 5 years. Like, do you know what 5 years is?
Right.
Could you, fathom that? Like, spending 5 years in prison, your whole life is gone at that point. At least to me, that's how I would think.
No, I mean, I couldn't imagine it. Have you ever left a case and just been, like, heartbroken?
Yes.
It happens a lot.
It happens if I have either a client who I think it's in their best interest to plead, and I've gotten them a really good deal, and they insist on going to trial, and just based on the testimony,
Get their butts handed.
that they're found guilty, and they get handed a very large sentence. And weirdly enough, it happens the other way around. I had a case where my client was charged with murder, and he never told me. He said he didn't do it. He never told me who did it. And my investigator and I figured out that his brother did it.
Oh, shit.
And I said, and we're sitting down for trial. I have my binder. I said, I have this right here, and I'm going to prove that your brother committed this murder. he goes, "I want a plea. Give me a plea." And he took 40 years for manslaughter. Because
How
he
old
did
was
it.
he?
He was the older brother. He was probably 24.
Oh,
So, and he did not want to. He didn't want his brother to go to prison.
what was that like for you?
I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
That was at a time in my life where my first emotion was anger
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know how to process emotions. So I was angry. I was angry for selfish reasons because I could have gotten not guilty on that.
Right.
And I was angry because I could not understand why someone would agree to spend 40 years in prison for a crime that they did not commit.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible. So Brad, you've been with us for 3 years? 4? I don't know how long. Do you know Nicole?
I think 4.
You've been with us for 2?
Yeah.
2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So before you were with Roux, you were just at a regular gym
Yeah.
doing bodybuilding stuff. I don't know if you guys can tell. Brad, can you show your guns real quick? Can you flex for us? Brad. For those of you who are just listening on iTunes, Brad just flexed his biceps, and they are pretty jacked.
Not that I measure them, but I would think it's about 17 inches.
Mine are about half that. Who's counting? So before you started CrossFit, you just did typical bodybuilding stuff, right?
Yeah, just like a gym in a strip mall with machines and maybe a couple free, the dumbbell rack and a couple free weights. But mostly it's go from this machine to this machine to yeah.
How long were you doing that?
Since I was 13.
Since you were 13?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, can you tell me a little bit about, what inspired you to start working out at 13 and getting into that?
Tell me about the posters.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say the person's name, though.
Arnold.
That's correct.
Okay. So Nicole said, tell me about the posters. Let's hear about the posters.
Okay. So my mom, so when you get the bodybuilding magazines back, I was born in 1980. In the early 90s, you would get bodybuilding magazines, and they would have a tear out.
Magazines are what people learn stuff from like that, before the internet, kids, for those of you who are listening. That were born in the 90s.
And there was a poster on the inside in the middle, so you tore it out, and there were 2 sides to the poster. One side always had a bikini girl on it. The other side had a man all oiled up posing on stage, and he was really, really muscled. And I chose to put the muscle guys on my wall in my bedroom.
Oh, my God.
And my mom sat me down one time, and she's like, Brad, it doesn't really matter. I'm just asking, but is this what you're attracted to? She was asking me if I was gay.
How old were you when she asked you
I
if you were
don't
gay?
remember, maybe 13 or 14. And I was like, no, that's what I want to look like. And she was like, okay, but for the record, that doesn't look good.
That's what she said?
She's like, nobody's attracted to that, Brad.
Lots of people are attracted to that, Mom.
I agree. But I couldn't look like that. And then I learned that you have to take lots and lots and lots of steroids to look like that.
But you got into that, and you started working out at 13, and how did your fitness or what you thought was fitness evolve from 13 to 30?
Yeah, and I would say it's still evolving.
Yeah, it should always be evolving, but I mean, in that particular, because that's mainly when you were involved in bodybuilding, right?
Yeah.
Before you kind of got into functional fitness. Tell me a little bit about that 13 to 30, the evolution there, just mainly within the bodybuilding world.
So I'm looking at. I want symmetry. I want big muscles. I could care less about cardio until it came time for summertime and to show the abs.
When Brad first started at Roux, he could not run 200 meters without hacking up a lung.
Is that true?
I almost threw up during the warm up on the first time, and I looked over at the person next to me and I said, "This is the warm up."
Okay, so keep going. So you're worried about symmetry, stuff like that.
Yeah, to me, that was fitness,
Mm-hmm.
even though I was not in shape.
But you look good.
But I looked good.
Right.
And honestly, I wasn't even really that strong because you're working out for hypertrophy,
Gaining muscle
not
mass.
for strength.
Right.
So that was up until college, and then I played rugby in college, and then running became more important, but so was size.
I didn't know you played rugby in college.
Yeah,
That's cool.
so then I was big, but also could run with the help of some substances.
Okay.
And
Like.
stuff that's not WADA approved.
Okay. All right. And that helped you with rugby.
Yes. It's going to increase. You take things to increase
So
stamina.
you played on the club team at LSU?
There's a club team at Tulane.
Oh, at Tulane.
Yeah.
At Tulane. Sorry. So I didn't know you were a Tulane grad. Hullabaloo, right?
The Hullabaloo. Yes, I actually wrote an article for the Hullabaloo. Why can't we say that word?
Hullabaloo or Hullabaloo?
No, the first.
Hullabaloo.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
Roll wave. Okay, got it.
Um,
And you played rugby all 4 years?
yeah. And then after college, I didn't have to run anymore because I didn't have to play rugby. So I went back to let's just get big. And then Jonathan Burke, actually, who I went to high school with, and he's a coach here. He kept telling me for months, maybe even a year, like, hey, you got to come check this place out. Hey, you got to come check this.
So the first few times I met Brad, he was just like creepily standing in the corner at the gym, like just staring at us. I actually, and this is funny, I agreed with your mom. I thought you were gay too for a while because you were just like watching us work out. And again, that's totally cool, but that's what I thought for the longest time until you actually, you looked good, cared about your appearance, and you liked watching guys work out, which is totally, I get it too. I like watching guys work out too. It's part of my job. But you just kind of stood there. And one time was like after the Irish Channel Parade practice or something, or you came in and your hair was like spray painted green.
Mm-hmm.
That was for the open event.
Yeah, I was in jeans.
You were watching us do bar muscle ups, and you're like, "Oh, I can do that." You couldn't.
And I could. Yes. Everything I saw, I was like, I can do that. I can do that better than that person. and then you try it, and I couldn't.
But now you can, so that's good.
Yeah.
Nicole, in circus school, what kind of working out were you doing?
It's weird because it was, all day, every day. And the amount of calories I was putting in my body for the amount of working out I was doing was insane.
Like, tell me, how many? You
So,
just eat all day?
No. The opposite.
Oh, shoot. You're starving yourself.
Yep. Only for breakfast, I'd have 2 eggs, some greens. Well, usually just 1 egg and then the rest whites. And then for lunch, I'd have a protein bar. And then for dinner, I'd have a salad about this big. Or not dinner at all.
Jesus. Were you just like hating yourself for the longest time?
Well, yeah, it was hard. I think honestly that's why I tore my ACL the other time, because I was just so undernourished and they were pushing us so hard and I was exhausted. My body was just exhausted and I couldn't bounce back. So, yeah.
But it was mostly like a lot of conditioning work. You weren't doing a lot of strength work.
No, correct. And the strength work we were doing was a lot of body weight stuff, like pull-ups.
Which are good.
Yeah. A lot of V-ups, like our abs were like...
Nicole does have the best ab-looking exercises in the gym. If you watch her V-ups look like art, along with her hollow body rocks. Anytime she does something on the rings, it is very pretty to watch.
Yeah.
So,
congrats. Thank you. That's all. Well, that's all we did basically. And then our teacher would strap like weights onto our legs and then in our arms, and we do the V-ups like that. Like it was just, yeah.
We should do that.
The next level.
We should get leg weights and do core work with that. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
So now, Nicole, you work at Lululemon.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
The
Lemon. How long are you working at Lululemon?
I guess about 2.5 years.
Yep. And I'll just spill the beans. That's how she found us.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
And what was your first impression of the functional fitness gym when you walked in?
Well, So Mel, your sister, I worked with her, so she kept telling me, you should do it. You're going to be good at CrossFit. Like, you should do it. And I was like, I don't know. Because here's the thing. I used to make fun of CrossFit people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of one instance, though. My circus friend and I were in Vermont, and we're at dinner with these CrossFit people, and all they talked about was their Metcons, or I don't even remember what they were talking about. It was all CrossFit terms, and I was like, well, this is rude and narcissistic. Like, why would you just talk about
So
this?
it's funny is like my first 5 years of CrossFit, all I did was talk about CrossFit everywhere I went. And now when someone like if I'm out at a bar drinking or at dinner or at a party and someone wants to talk about their Metcon that day, I'm like, shut the fuck up, okay? Like, I don't want to hear about your workout anymore. So I totally get it. Like, I'm over it. I think everybody has these ebbs and flows of their CrossFit life. Both of you are still pretty young in your CrossFit life, so you probably still talk about your workouts a lot outside of the gym. Maybe you not. Brad definitely does.
Yeah.
What?
Brad definitely does. Or if he's not talking about his workouts, he's probably talking about how much he's squatting, which is normally a shit ton, or how much he's deadlifting, which is normally a shit ton, or how much he's bench pressing, which is normally
less than a shit ton,
but still more than most. So that's why his pecs are pretty huge.
Yeah.
So you walk in, you're like, we're gonna make fun of these people.
Well, so I was like, I can't let that one experience skew me. So I'm like, okay, well, Mel keeps, and I knew Sarah too because I danced with her. So I was like, okay, these are good people. So I'm just gonna like come in and try. I didn't even take a fundamentals class. Mel was like, yeah, just jump in. And I'm like, what are these? I had never picked up a barbell before.
You learned pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, I'm good. Like when I'm watching someone do the movement, it's easier for me to pick up because it's like a body coordination thing, you know, dance, circus. So I was doing it, and I was like, yeah, this is fun. And then it kept me coming back because...
all the guys were super hot.
Yes.
Oh, boom!
Don't believe that.
But she means that Brad S, not this Brad S.
Both these Brads.
Oh! That makes my day.
No, but what really kept me coming back was the workouts were so much fun.
Right.
It was like I was back in circus school with like-minded people, a different workout all the time, but it was more exciting because circus, we did the same shit all the time. I mean, you would get a good trick out of it, but you had to, for a long time, keep going up. But this was like you mix it up, everything's different. You were sore all the time, which I love. I'm a weird person.
No, I love being sore. Like the other day, I couldn't get out of bed because of the squats on Tuesday. Like my body, for the record, I did have a little 24-hour flu bug that hit me pretty hard. But my body was in pain, mostly because like I squatted the shit out of it on Tuesday.
Yeah, that was hard.
But I loved it.
Yeah.
I love feeling super sore. So it's interesting because I follow a lot of these strength and conditioning coaches around the country, and they say that you should not have delayed onset muscle soreness or DOMS. Okay, they say you shouldn't have that, and if you have that all the time, that's poor programming. I'm going to disagree with that a little bit because you need to push your body every now and then in order to break through some plateaus or gain some progress. And you're pushing your body if you have that soreness.
Right. So if you're like sore from Monday, you take a couple days, you flow through it, you don't push it as hard.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things we've done here at the gym is we've kind of gotten away from scoring a lot of our workouts to just scoring a couple of them a week, which I don't know how you feel about that, Brad, because I know you're super competitive and you want to know what's in the whiteboard. I know a lot of people like the scoring, but what I feel like that does, and maybe Nicole, you can answer this for me, is it takes the pressure off of people to like insanely push themselves.
Absolutely. Because I'm a competitive person. So when we were having those scoring things, and I'm not at the level, but you
try hard though.
I try hard. I try to do the RX thing, and I would kill myself trying to do it every time. But now I'm like, now I've eased off.
Yeah, I'm like that too. Like I'm like, today doesn't really feel like it. I'm just gonna flow through this, and I'm like, man, why is this so hard? I can only get 3 rounds on. Oh, it's because you have the flu and you're working out.
Don't ever do that.
That was Tuesday.
Yeah, don't come here with the flu. I don't want to get sick.
Well, I didn't know I had it. When I went home, I didn't show up to the gym yesterday because I waited till I was 24 hours free of fever before I showed back up to the gym. Yeah, a little bug, but I was like had the chills,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
I had like 3 shirts on and 2 pairs of pants on, and I'm like laying under the covers like this.
That's when you know you pushed it too hard.
It was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I will say though that when you program something not for time, it's usually good because it's movements in that are movements that you shouldn't rush.
I agree. So, for example, Tuesday. Okay, we back Monday was a burner where we did this upper body workout, and it was super intense. Yeah. And then Tuesday we squatted heavy, so I didn't want to do something super intense, but I wanted something to just flow for time over the course of 16 to 20 minutes, depending on which class you were in. And the movements we had in it were stuff like Bulgarian split squats with a goblet, tuck ups. We also did kettlebell swings and hip thrust, single leg hip thrust or glute bridges off of the bench. And with the glute bridges or the hip thrust and the hell am I talking about? Bulgarian split squats, you want to concentrate on your technique there. You're not trying to rush it. You're trying to get full range of motion, squeezing different muscle groups. That's a bodybuilding thing, right? The mind-muscle connection. And really emphasizing that rather than if you're trying to score that, then there's a good chance that most people, not all people, most people are just going to fluff through that.
Yes.
And they're going to get actually a worse workout than if it's not scored and they're concentrating on the movement.
Or injure themselves.
Or injure themselves.
Which is what I would have done when I first got here because I was all about being at the top of that leaderboard.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see Brad's evolution because I feel like, and maybe this is the Nicole effect, I'm not sure. But Brad, when he started the gym, you were all about like, I'm going to crush this shit. Let's go. Ah! And now it's like, well, I'm going to push it. I'm going to squat some heavy weight, but like, this is how I feel today. I'm going to back off. Like, you're just more relaxed, more chill.
Yeah. Thanks. I feel like I'm starting to listen to my body. I'll be 40 next year.
Woo, 40. You don't look it. Okay, you look
Thanks.
younger than me. But do you think that's because of your age and wisdom, or because you were in a really happy place with your relationship, or just time from working out, or all three?
I think it's because I was using my physical appearance or the way that I wanted people to see me as a mask.
Mm-hmm.
So if people saw me as, this buff-looking guy who can do all this great athletic stuff, they wouldn't look any deeper because I wasn't happy with what was deeper.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept that as a front. And since then, I've done a lot of work on myself, and I am happy with who I am. I'm happy with where I am in life, and I no longer need that mask or that front. So I don't have to do that for. So if I'm going to squat, whatever weight I'm going to squat for 5 reps, I'm not doing it to see who's looking at me. I'm doing it to see if I can actually do it. And
yeah, you're doing it for yourself.
And if I have to dump it on the 4th rep, which I had to do the other day, it's going to happen. I'm not going to stand under the bar and get injured just to prove it to somebody.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. And, I kind of did the same thing for myself. Like, owning a gym, I started a gym because I wanted to help people. And I really enjoyed doing this. I also wanted to own my own business. But I felt like I needed to be the best at everything.
Yeah, you said that.
So, like, right? I had to go 100% every fucking day. Okay.
And you were in first place almost every time.
Yeah, almost every time, for a while there. And, like, it got to a point where I couldn't do that anymore, and it's exhausting mentally, physically. And I wasn't happy, but I did that because, like, I got to prove this. I didn't look like I wanted to look, so I felt like I had to perform a certain way. And maybe it's, I fixed my diet. I got some hormone replacement therapy through my doctor. And I don't know, I feel a lot more at ease. And it's like in the past year, or maybe longer, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, where I felt like I don't need to do that. You know what I mean? And I just work out for myself. And there are days when I'm like, let's see what my body can do. And there are days when I'm like, I'm just going to have fun today. Get 35 minutes of exercise in. That's all.
Yeah.
But you don't have any of those issues, huh, Nicole?
Oh, with exercise? Tons.
Tons?
Yeah, are you kidding me? I started off in ballet, so I've always had
So you've been fucked in the head for a long time.
That's right. No, my relationship with food has always been negative, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like from ballet, they'd tell us not to eat so much.
Right.
Like the ideal in ballet was very thin. And then when I get to circus school, she actually told me to stop eating as much. She's like, "You're looking large, Nicole. You not eat so much."
Jesus.
Yeah. She's like, "Why don't you go for a run?" Like she said both those things to me. So, yeah.
Those Russians are blunt.
Yeah, she was straight to the point.
So how were you able to overcome that?
Really, once I stopped circus, I was like, "Oh, it's going to be fine." I still wasn't eating enough in the circus. And I was like, "Oh, it's fine. I'm stress-free. Like, I don't have to worry about dying every day. Like, I can just work out and eat normally." And then I couldn't. I don't even know if I told you this, but I was using laxatives at one point because
To stay skinny?
Yeah. Which was unhealthy.
How long,
every
how long
time,
ago was that?
2 years before I started CrossFit. I was like, if I ate too much that I thought was inappropriate amount,
Right.
I would use laxatives. And so I started coming here and I'm like, "Hey, I need this nutrition to help me with my workouts so I don't crumple."
Right.
And I don't know, I knew that was always wrong to do. And I was like, okay, well, it's time for me to like grow up and realize.
Did you have to get outside help on that, or you just figured it out yourself?
No, I just figured it out myself.
That's good.
I knew it was,
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I need to find a healthy balance between being okay with eating healthy, nutritious stuff, even if it was more than I thought I should, but in reality it's not. And then not working out 3 times a day. Remember when I used to work out 3 times a day? Yeah. It was when I first met you, right?
I don't remember that.
I do remember you being at the gym a lot.
Yeah.
You're not at the gym as much anymore.
Right. So both of those unhealthy habits, like, I don't know, I feel like I've started to calm down a little bit and be like, look, I'm not a professional athlete anymore.
Right.
Not that I ever should have had that mindset, but that was my mindset. Like, you work out nonstop.
You were a professional athlete, basically, in the circus.
Yeah, I mean, I was working out. That's what I did.
But you didn't eat like one.
That is correct. Yeah. That's right. So it just took time. And then coming here, I don't know, having y'all support. And I did a couple of y'all's nutrition programs, which was great, very informative to me. So, and Emily always stressed, like, if you have some stuff, like, don't worry about it. Like, it's not the end of the world if you have some chocolate cake or, just like, let it go.
Yeah, I feel like everybody knows what they're doing, or what their intake is. And it's just about self-actualization, though.
Right.
Yeah. And I think when people get on there's 2 spectrums, right? Which is not eating enough and then eating too much. And then there's that middle ground that we should all live in. And both people on the extremes do not have that self-actualization, right? Like they're missing the 3 or 4 other things they're eating or not eating, and then it takes a while to get into that middle and have that balance, but that balance is what it takes.
Yeah. What?
Balance. I feel like that's everything.
Balance is everything.
Brad helps me too.
Brad helps you? How does he help you?
Well, I tell her, "Are you sure you want that fudgesicle?" And then she eats it anyway.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
That's all right.
But yeah, that does happen.
I get nutrition advice in the middle of meals, like, you're eating kind of fast. Why don't you take some breaths?
Oh, fast eating.
Tell him that all the time.
Yeah.
I do. I'm notorious for that. I mean,
I'm trying to put my fork down between bites. Let go of it and then pick it up.
And I can always hear Emily's advice in my head. Or the thing she tells everybody, and it's one of the two biggest issues probably if you asked her, is like distracted eating and mindful eating. And so trying to be mindful while you eat and not be distracted. And if I can do those two things, I definitely don't eat as fast. But when I'm home at lunch and I'm like just trying to de-stress and I put like a TV show on or a dinner or something like that, if I put a little Netflix on while I eat dinner, it's game over.
And then it's gone.
Yeah.
And then
you're
it's
like,
gone.
wait.
And then I'm like, want to eat another plate. But I've been really good recently about eating and then just chilling and letting my stomach catch up.
What do you do while you eat to eat slow? How do you slow yourself down? How are you mindful?
I have conversations. So in my nutrition handbook, it discusses a lot of like, when you talk about the muscle mind connection when you're working out or doing bodybuilding or whatever, it would be similar in terms of the connection between your mind and what you're eating, like smell the food, taste it, think about what you're eating. Those types of things helps you become mindful. And if you do that, you're going to have a lot better opportunity to not overeat, not eat too fast, avoid some terrible circumstances. So
I'll try that.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Good
should
deal.
try to eat without Netflix. Maybe that would help too.
Yeah, I can. But when you're not home, I eat at the kitchen island.
Oh.
I eat at the kitchen island. But my dining room table is too far away, so we eat most of our meals at the kitchen.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever eaten. We've used our table once.
Awesome. So what kind of things have you maybe learned about yourself when you enter the world of like functional fitness and start trying to maybe push yourself in more of a performance related exercise?
Okay. I'm not as good as my ego thinks I am, and therefore leave your ego at the door, because there's always somebody better than you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's always somebody better than you. It might not be the same person that's better than you in everything, but there's always somebody better than you in something.
Right.
Always. So I mean, like I just want to be decent at a lot of things. I'm not striving for excellence at anything.
Above average.
Above average in many different things. That's me.
Yeah.
Above average. So that's how I live my life.
Yeah, and then we were talking about the scoreboard before, the whiteboard, and it's a double-edged sword because you can compare yourself to other people, but you also are keeping track of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I can look up there and see, okay, I squatted this much last time. I'm going to try to put 2.5s on each side. I'm going to try to add 5 pounds.
Yeah.
So, and that's the other thing that this has taught me is to try to always get better, but then also understand when you.
Yeah. So I was just listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about PRs and how like there can be not a danger, but maybe the problem with always trying to hit a PR every time we have a max lift or a benchmark lift on the board is that you're going to strive to put those extra 5 pounds, even though maybe you didn't get enough sleep, or maybe you had a stressful work week, or a number of different things that are going to affect how you lift that day and not make it possible to hit it, but you're going to try anyway because that number is up on the board. So it's an interesting thing to think about,
Yeah, it affects me too. That just the time I work out. If I can.
Yeah, no, definitely.
If I come in at
true.
9:30 in the morning after I've only had one meal, I'm not going to do as well as when I come at 3:30 when I've already had 4 meals that day and lots of carbs.
Yeah, for sure. Nicole?
Wait, I thought this question was about how we're
Carbs.
Carbs.
No, how we are in the outside world because of the functional body. Right?
Well, that's true. It's more or less what you've learned over the last couple of years. But I'll take that too.
Oh, well.
How has it changed you?
I feel like, I don't know, I approach everything with more of a sense of curiosity because when I started CrossFit, I didn't know what I was doing. And I still am consider myself a novice at it. And so every workout we're doing, every lift, like I feel like I'm growing and learning and looking. And,
So it's led you to be curious outside.
yeah,
the gym
because
as well.
because I was like in the circus workout, and I was like, that's all you need to do, and like it doesn't matter. I don't need to squat. But now I'm like, oh, maybe.
Everybody needs to squat.
No, I never squatted. I'm serious, which is why I probably can't squat that heavy now. But
I saw some Australian personal trainer in an article the other day telling one of my friends owns a gym in London. She posted it, and it was, women don't need to squat. They just need to eat this and then just walk. And she was posting it and be like, why should a man be telling women what they should or should not be doing? Which I agree with. But also the fact that they shouldn't squat or don't need to squat is...
I don't think that there's anything wrong with people not squatting. I didn't used to squat.
Yeah, sure.
However, I will tell you what it did bring up was that I found my hips were imbalanced.
Yeah.
Because when I was squatting, I was putting more weight on the other one. And then I had a hip problem for a second, which went into my knee, remember?
Yep.
I was like, oh, my knee's messed up. But I went to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, it's just your hips are weak. And I would... Like, I already had 3 ACL tears. I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't started squatting because I didn't used to use my legs.
I saw Nicole at the gym every day, like 20 minutes before class, doing these very strange banded exercises, which turned out to be everything she needed to do to strengthen your hip and has worked, right?
Yes.
How'd you learn about those?
Oh, the physical therapist.
Oh, sweet.
Not Burke because my insurance isn't covered by him.
That damn
So
insurance.
It's hard when you can't go to the best physical therapist.
Stupid insurance.
Oh, yeah.
Lululemon needs to switch to Blue Cross.
Also, I had a strength coach that said you should squat every day, and I still believe that's true.
I think you can. I just think
whether it's a different variation.
There's a couple of different squat programs out there that are squat everyday programs. The problem is you cannot squat every day and then also do everything else that we do. You know what I mean? And then I saw an interesting article, and I was telling you this before we started, or maybe it was somebody else today. I don't know. Everything runs together. But how you shouldn't be under a barbell every single day. And I didn't do that because of the effects on your CNS, on your central nervous system, and how over time it just wears you down and opens you up to more injuries. Which, as you know, if you would have told me that 3 years ago, I'd have been like, "That's stupid." But at 36, I agree. Like, it's tough, and I mean, I literally take rest days when I'm at the gym sometimes, and I have the ability to work out, but my body doesn't feel it. Now I take a rest day. Before, I would have made myself work out. So it's interesting how things change, and I just feel like people need to evolve as their bodies evolve over time. And I also think there's many different aspects to advice. There's no one size fits all for anyone.
And rest days look different for everybody. Like, how's your rest day? Your rest day, you don't sit on the couch. You're still.
I might.
But on some days that you consider a rest day,
you're like walking around.
It just means that you're not going to touch a weight. You're still going to do some mobility or something.
I mean, ideally, yes, but some rest days are for me or just like coaching a few classes and then watching Netflix. So yes, there are some rest days for me. Ideally, no, I would go on a walk with my dog. You know, but I'll super honesty here, being a dad of 2. Running a business and having to coach classes and do all that stuff, like when I'm not working out, like it's chill time. So.
Yeah. I mean, you need your, don't apologize for that. Yeah.
Don't apologize for anything.
Don't apologize for that. You need
awesome.
Everybody needs your chill time.
Well, cool. I want to end with this, guys. What is some advice maybe you would give to someone who is afraid to start in an environment that's like a group fitness model or Roux Fitness, and they're like, oh, well, I need to get in shape or have all these excuses or sitting at home? What would be your advice for them to get started?
Mine would be just do it. The community here specifically is so nice, so open, so welcoming. You can take things at your own pace. Mm-hmm. You know, like if you want to just do the barbell, if you don't want to do any barbell, don't do a barbell.
Right. Absolutely.
Everybody is so supportive. Everybody's at a different fitness journey, and I think, I know everybody in the gym is respectful of that and encouraging of everybody. So if you need to take a rest day, take a rest day. But everybody's here, and they have your back, you know?
Yeah.
And not just fitness in like your life as well, which is very refreshing.
What about though, like someone who's intimidated? What would you say to that person?
Oh, intimidated. Well, same thing. I think everybody's here is supportive, and it's not like you have to be at a certain level. Like
Right.
I don't know anybody in the gym who just like struts around, just like yeah.
Besides Brad.
Besides Brad
Besides
with
Brad.
his curls.
Although I have a tendency sometimes when I'm really feeling myself to like walk around with my shirt off before
Wear
the
your
class even
white
starts.
pants.
Or my white pants.
Yes. Other than that, I think everybody's really humbled and, you know, wants everybody else to learn and will help you and respectful of everybody else's. It's not an intimidating environment. Everybody's encouraging, I'd say.
Awesome. What about you, Brad?
Well, I'll start with this because I've been told by people who now know me well that when they first saw me in the gym, that I was intimidating.
But you
And
smile so big.
I do, but I don't mean to be.
Let me interject real quick. So we recently did coaches surveys, and all of the members at Roux filled out a survey on all of our coaches. And one of our coaches, Kevin Curran, if you haven't met him, he's pretty jacked, and he's real big. He's probably one of the only persons. There's a few, but one of the only ones that can squat and deadlift more than Brad. But anyway, somebody wrote in their comments, and it's funny, so I'm just going to share it, that they were intimidated by Kevin Curran at first due to his muscle mass, which I think is awesome. That's awesome.
And I think
was that
that's
you that said that? No. Okay. But anyway, you were saying, sorry. I interrupted you.
It's okay. So people come in and they think, oh, that person's going to judge me. And I'm not making this up. I've really heard this from people before. They're going to judge me. Oh, I can never look like that. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I'm going to judge is the person who's sitting on the couch eating potato chips and not doing anything about being fat, but
Judging
knows that they're fat. That's who I'm going to judge.
Right.
If you are in the gym, and this goes for all the gyms that I've ever worked out at all the people that I've ever been friends with there, if you are in the gym working out, you are part of us. You are in our collective group. You are trying. And
trying to better yourself.
Kudos to you for doing that. And really, more respect for that.
Right.
Because it's harder for that 250-pound person to get on that treadmill and put it on an incline and walk.
Yeah,
if that's
absolutely.
all they're going to do. Than it is for my in-shape friend to put it on an incline and walk. I'm going to tell my in-shape friend, you get out there and you sprint. Get off that damn treadmill. But I'm going to tell that other person, like, I'm proud of you. Good job. Please come back tomorrow. And there should not be intimidated. That was the one thing I would say to people is don't think people are judging you negatively. If anything, I'm judging you positively for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a reason we don't have mirrors in the gym. I know.
Is there a reason? I always wondered about that.
I would never work out. I would just stare at myself.
Oh my God.
I probably would too. So
Oh my God.
mother-in-law says that I've never met a mirror that I didn't love.
Wow, y'all.
A rose between
Yeah,
two
she'll-
thorns, or should I say a thorn between two roses?
That's right.
Which one's right? You're the rose or the thorn?
She's the thorn with the two roses.
That's what we think, though.
That's right. But anyway, all right. So you heard it here, folks. Don't be intimidated. Just start, or we're judging you. No,
Nobody's judging.
No one's judging. But we all love you. So come join our gym. Check us out at Roux.fitness. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Brad, for joining us. We wish you the
Namaste.
best in your journey towards happiness together as a couple and many more years in our gym. So peace. Bye.
Thanks.
That was fun.
That's fun.